First of all, I want to actually thank Andrew and Cassandra for the enormous job they've done in organising all this last night and today, and to Helen Cathles as well. Without it, we wouldn't be here. Thank you very much. Thank you. My topic today is the Superfine Industry Strategic Review. As you know, it was initiated by the Goulburn Yass region, and that went to the ASWGA Council, and from there we took it to AWI. It's a really important process that regions raise problems and present it to the Council, and then we can do something about it. So at your regions, do think about what needs doing and bring it forward. I'd also like to particularly thank Paul Swan for recognising that it was a good thing to do and backing us with the dollars, and to John Powell, who authored it. And John, you're here today. Can you just stand up? So if you've got questions on it, do see John. It is a discussion document intended to be the basis of constructive discussion, leading to industry initiatives and action. We distributed it across all our members, our growers and our mill members, which are across 6 countries. We sent it through to AWI, of course, AWTA, AWEX, Australian Wool Industries Secretariat, who distributed it to the Federation of Australian Wool Organisations, the International Wool Textile Organisation, Wool Producers Australia, to the AWI Industry Consultative Committee, and therefore that goes through to the State Farming Organisation Wool Committee chairs, to Superfine brokers and buyers, and to the media. So you can see that it has had a very good distribution, and I'm extremely disappointed. I would have had conversations I could count on one hand over this review. That is very damning in that it shows we do not have a viable industry. So I'd like everybody to reread it and get activated. The key task of the review was to identify the real underlying issue for the current decline in the viability of the ultrafine and superfine merino industry, to identify some courses of action, and to lead to constructive dialogue resulting in action. At the risk of oversimplifying the review, I'll be presenting just a nutshell, and it'll be even more of a nutshell now that we're running a bit late, so I'm a bit nervous about getting it all in. So to clarify at the outset, one thing I need to point out to you is that we had hoped for a larger sample of cost of production. However, we feel that what did come through was indicative. So the key findings. Growing superfine in the current situation scenario is not viable. There is a dramatic change in the superfine clip profile from Australian superfine to slightly broader as a merino or as a merino bold, and David Cother will explain that more in his segment, which follows this one. And we have a decline in high crimping superfine wools. There's a big trend for experienced superfine growers with quality Saxon genetics in their sheep to leave the industry or breed larger sheep with lesser quality superfine in merinos, Doonies, Sams and others. And farm succession. Unfortunately, we usually see a dramatic change in the enterprise composition because the focus is on the bottom line and quality superfine does not stack up. So what is the key issue? And when you drill right down through these complex layers, I want you to remember that the only place where more money, more dollars can enter the supply chain is at retail. And remember that when you as consumers go and spend your money, you part with your dollars only if you get value or if you have no choice. And our customers have plenty of choice. So the key issue is that retail consumers do not have an easy way to distinguish between products made from high quality Australian superfine and ultrafine and products made from lesser quality merinos, Doonies, Sams, etc. And because they can't distinguish and cannot see benefit, they have no reason to pay more for higher quality products such as next to skin. Therefore, the price point at retail stays low. Then there is no signal back from retail through the supply chain to the auction room, telling the raw wool buyers to pay more for raw wool from top quality superfine merinos. The end result from grower to retail product is a fair average quality product and a fair average quality price, with absolutely no premium for quality anymore. So reducing the profile of the industry to a rectangle. This is how I see it. We've reduced it to a commodity, to a flat bed. We used to have an industry that was like a triangle, and at the peak of that triangle was the ultra fine and very high quality superfines. And what's happened? It's collapsed. We no longer have what I see as a healthy industry. We just have a commodity. So the key way ahead is to have a campaign for wool. And this campaign is at many levels. Its focus is assisting consumers to make the distinction between high and low quality products, to encourage them to lift their desire for high quality and to relay their preferences back through the supply chain. How do we do this? We base the campaign on improved technical, objective specifications of high quality versus low quality. An example of this is the Sheep CRC comfort meter and handle meter that you saw last night and is out there again this morning. They establish repeatable and reliable data, and that's really very important. It's repeatable and reliable data on, say, next to skin comfort of garments, how they'll feel on you, and fabric sensations to the touch, softness, smoothness, and warmth. And it's repeatable and reliable. It's scientifically based. So we need to understand how these technically superior wools process, what the processing advantages are for each step in the supply chain, to refine the ability of those later in the processing pipeline to specify the true superfine product, especially curvature metrology for tops onwards. And we need to develop how technically superior wools can be made into new and innovative products to increase the value to the consumer and thus the demand, and how to translate technically superior wools into the willingness to pay at retail. Making sure the campaign has focus on product innovation and development. And the product innovation and development partnered by product sales and marketing of high quality superfine merino that's growing in Australia. And that does increase demand and price for high quality Australian grown superfine merino. You may be wondering how the current AWI programs fit with this campaign. We've got the Merino No Finer Feeling, the campaign for wool, the one that Prince Charles has been helping us along with, or his campaign we've been helping him with, and the China luxury market. Our campaign for superfine wool would build on these. They have all been very important. They are promotion and advertising campaigns. And as Philip Attard pointed out to me during the week, there is a very big difference between promotion and advertising campaigns and sales and marketing. So they have been promotion and advertising campaigns in reawakening the world on how magnificent wool is. So really important. However, in reality, they cover fine and superfine wools from all sheep breeds and by default from all countries. So they don't really meet our needs now. We need more. We need additional targeted product marketing. We need a discernible effect on demand and price for high quality superfine and ultrafine merino from Australia. So what has ASWGA done and where are we up to? And remember, this campaign is at all levels. So firstly, we must have clarity in our typing and style codes to facilitate accurate supply, selling and buying. ASWGA has been working with AWEX, and I have to say AWEX have been fantastic in assisting us to make some progress. And together we've adjusted the typing and style codes to better describe and better reflect today's superfine clip. And as I mentioned before, David Cother will explain more about this in his segment shortly. And we have to give accurate signals to the supply chain on supply. At the moment, we're still using percentages to tell the world how much superfine we actually grow. On this AWEX graph, statistics, and remembering that this is on wool sold, so any statistics that you see from AWEX are on wool sold, AWTA are on wool tested. So you look down to 2011, and we sold 20.3%, and that is 62.5 million kilos. In 2006, we sold 21.3% at 87.8 million kilos, which on this account is all accurate information. 1% would represent 25.3 million kilos. However, when you look at 2011 and you compare it with 2002, when we sold the 63.5 million kilos, but then it was only 15.9%. So that came out at 4.4%, equaling 1 million kilos. So while the figures are accurate, they give a very mixed message. And the perception is that we have more superfine than we do, creating that perception that Australian superfine is not special. And it is special, and it is finite. This one is an AWTA graph, and this actually shows you why the percentage appears to be not right. It's what is actually comprising the wool clip that has changed so dramatically that we cannot use percentages anymore. We have to use accurate millions of kilos. So ASWGA is still working on changing the reporting method. Currently, most reports are now using both percentages and kilos. However, we need to make sure it's kilos only so that we're more accurate and we reduce misunderstanding, or we are absolutely accurate. Sorry. Okay. It is accurate, but it gives a misunderstanding. And I recall showing the ultra-fine figures to a mill member, and they commented when they saw it in millions of kilos, they said, "Is that all? I thought it was X percent." Yes, it is, but that's the number of kilos. So people get a very mixed message. The only way to be accurate, and for people to be working from an accurate base in their brain as well as on the paper, is with millions of kilos. I'll just show you also, Paul gave me, before I go to Paul's graph. This is a graph, because I just thought you might be interested in this. This actually shows you our levy contribution for 18.5 in fauna. And it's over the last 3 years, and you can see we're in a bit of a decline there. But I thought you'd like to know how much of the levy we actually represent. So then also, Paul's graph. And you see suddenly there is a rapid decline. That is where the GFC hit. So these are just all statistics just for you to understand where we're sitting currently. So ASWGA's current major project discussion on better positioning the superfine clip is with AWI. This is based on findings from ASWGA visiting mills in Turkey, Italy, UK, Korea, Japan and China in the last 6 months. And that was in a business range from SCAR to retailer. And the important factors are that no mill was aware of the current profile of the Australian superfine clip. There were few people in mills today have any knowledge of the difference that crimp can make on the end result of fabric and garment. And from retailer to spinner, the only measurable reference is micron. There's no other attribute from spinner to retailer. And there was an overwhelming support that these trials are done to identify if there is a difference and if there is a benefit. So we actually have buy-in from these mills. They want the trials to be done and they want to see what the results are, because if they can get an advantage, that's all the better for their business. The project we're aiming at, and we've been talking with Paul and Jimmy about this, but the one that we're aiming at is to trial the 3 staple profiles from grower to consumer in 3 micron bands and across 3 continents. And why are we pushing for 3 continents? Because Italy, UK, China and Japan are all fiercely proud of their product. They're a bit like us, I think, you know. And their products are very different. and they could well benefit in different ways. Most importantly, we'll have buy-in across our markets. In Japan, while we were visiting there, one mill was very proud of telling us they were using the UK method to weave their cloth, but they were using the Italian design. They also, with a great glee in their voice, told us that you wouldn't want to have it the other way around. So, outcomes that ASWGA wants from the trials are to be scientifically based. Technical and aesthetic superior differences identified between the three profiles. These would need to be substantial differences to demonstrate value. And I recently spoke with a buyer in Australia on the telephone about finding some specific crimp style. And he said to me, Helen, I've seen all this before, it's all been done before, and sure there's a difference and it's a better product. So I thought, oh, that's good. And he said, but how are you going to give supply? Once someone has this product and they see how much better it is, they'll want supply. So I thought that was a very interesting comment. So we need to identify what the processing advantages are for each step in the supply chain and how different profiles can be made into new and innovative products to increase the demand, and identify a method to articulate the consumer preferences throughout the supply chain. And that may well come from the comfort and handle meter, I don't know, but we need to do the work. And how to achieve that willingness to pay at retail, so important. So the product development discussions we're having are with AWI, with Jimmy and with Paul. And because we're running short on time, I'll leave that because you've seen Jimmy's presentation. So I would just show you also this graph that Paul has given to us to use, and that shows you how cashmere and quality merino are moving, and what the gap between is a gap that we might be able to achieve. So keeping in mind that the attraction for targeting that market is that very fine merino can be indistinguishable in an aesthetic sense from cashmere, better performing in fabric durability and wear sense, which was what Jimmy was telling you, and also with much better value. So I'd like to then finish off this presentation by commenting that the review states that the campaign strategy must focus on returning dollars on farm. It really has to. If we do not change what we're doing, we'll not change the outcome. Very simply, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And our industry is not viable at the moment. So I'd stress that this review clearly shows that we're down but not out. It also shows us just as clearly that we have a great opportunity to work together to put quality, Australian superfine and ultrafine back in business and restore a flagship to the wool industry, which I think it desperately needs. So think about what your additional role in this could be. Are you an accountant? Do you have expertise in marketing, building businesses and supply chains, international collaboration and partnerships? What are your skills? Whatever your skills are, if you want to be a part of rebuilding our industry, do become a part of the solution, and we will achieve it a lot faster. On your chairs there is a survey form, and so you can put down on that your name and that you would like to participate and what the skill is that you would like to contribute. Thank you very much.